Hello guys, welcome back to yet another interesting test. Today we are going to do a death test between the latest device from iQOO, which is iQOO 12 with that of OnePlus 11 and Samsung S23 Ultra. In this test, we'll be performing throttling test, RAM and RAM management, heating, battery test and more. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. First of all, let's quickly go through the specifications of all these three phones. I know most of you guys must be aware about it. So iQOO 12 comes with 8 Gen 3 processor and OnePlus 11 and S23 Ultra comes with 8 Gen 2 processor. Here on the table we have iQOO and Samsung S23 with 12 GB of RAM and OnePlus 11 which has a massive 16 GB RAM. All the three phones comes with 5000 mAh of battery and all the three phones are running Android 14 based on their particular skins. All are updated to the latest build. We have set the same resolution. High performance mode have been turned on iQOO and OnePlus 11. Samsung doesn't have the high performance mode, but it delivers its best in the standard mode. We are performing this test just under the fan, and let me show you the ambient temperature. Ambient temperature is 24.7, taking the temperature of iQOO, which is 25.8, 25.9 and 25.9. All the devices have similar temperature right now. First, let's start with the benchmark testing. So we'll start the Geekbench application on all these three phones and we'll see whether 8 Gen 3 can surpass the flagship of 2023, wherein they have 8 Gen 2 processor. And you can also see battery is charged to 100%. At the end, we'll also get to know which device consumes the more battery. Here iQOO takes a massive lead and completes task faster than OnePlus 11 and Samsung S23 Ultra. So you can see the results in single core. iQOO have scored 2245, wherein multi-core scores are 6836. And at the same time, OnePlus 11 and S23 Ultra have also completed the test, but scores are very low compared to iQOO. On the screen, you can see the scores, single core and multi-core. OnePlus 11 scores better than Samsung S23 Ultra. Also, if you see the battery backup, in the initial testing, Samsung have drained 1% of battery, but on OnePlus and iQOO, both are still at 100% battery. Now let's also perform the GPU test. And here also you can see iQOO have completed the test a lot faster than OnePlus 11 and S23. GPU scores are 14,247 on iQOO 12, wherein OnePlus 11 and S23 are in 9000 series. Let's take a look at the temperature now. So iQOO temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, OnePlus 31.7 and Samsung S23 Ultra 31.2. Battery backup still 100% on iQOO and OnePlus 11, wherein Samsung it's 99. Now let's perform a CPU throttling test. And in CPU throttling test, we are performing the test with 100 thread up to 30 minutes. You can see number of threads are 100 and time is 30. So let's save it and start the test. So exactly after 30 minutes, you can see the maximum performance of CPU, which is the best on iQOO 12, wherein maximum CPU have throttled up to 69%, followed by 62% on Samsung S23 Ultra, and the last one is OnePlus 11. Let's also take a look at the temperatures of all these devices. So iQOO stands at 43.8, OnePlus 41.9, and Samsung S23 remains cooler, which is 40.4. And if you see the battery percentage, Samsung S23 have drained 14% of battery, wherein OnePlus 11 9% and 12% on iQOO 12. Now let's also perform the 3D benchmark test. I mean to say the extreme 3D benchmark test. Okay, so here are the results of Wildlife Extreme Stress Test and you can see the results. First of all, let me show you the temperature of all these phones. iQOO stands at 42.4, OnePlus 11 42.7, 41.1 on Samsung S23 Ultra, which remains cooler. And now if you see the best loop and lowest loop, here again iQOO 12 takes the lead, and in terms of stability also iQOO is at 68.7. And under performance monitor you can see the battery temperature and frame rates. In the entire testing, iQOO drained 9% of battery, OnePlus 11 drained 10% and Samsung S23 drained again 9%. Highest CPU temperature was recorded on OnePlus and Samsung. Now let's do a video rendering test on all these three phones. So this is a 4K video at 60 frames per second and we'll export this video in 4K itself. We'll select the resolution 4K and frames at 60 FPS. You can see video size is exactly same on all these three phones. Now let's quickly tap on export. Here iQOO takes a massive lead, completing the task faster than Samsung S23 and OnePlus 11. OnePlus 11 stands at second position, followed by Samsung S23, which is still taking a bit longer. It took additionally 10 seconds more compared to OnePlus 11 in renting the same video. Again, let's check the temperature: 40, 41 and 39. So this time OnePlus 11 has higher temperature compared to both the devices. Now let's perform a RAM test and RAM management test. So for the RAM and RAM management test, we started to open our website in Google Chrome and totally we opened more than 100 tabs. None of the devices had any kind of issues, or we did not even see any kind of lag. So all these three devices did their best. And after opening 100 tabs, you can see iQOO was left with almost 2 GB of RAM, OnePlus 11 with almost 6 GB of RAM left because it's a 6 GB RAM variant, and Samsung S23 was left with 1.8 GB. Now we have almost 20 applications running in the background on all these three phones, and let's open the first application whichever is available. I'm not opening the games because if I run any game in the background, that will kill the background applications due to the game mode present on all these three phones. So let's open up Geekbench application that reloads and on iQOO 12 but doesn't reload on OnePlus, and the same thing goes here on S23 Ultra. Now let's open some other application which we opened in past. So for example, here we have the CPU throttling application. Let's see whether this application is still in the background or not. So it reloads on iQOO, reloads on OnePlus, but remains in the background of S23 Ultra. So when it comes to background management, S23 Ultra has the best RAM management right now. And at last we performed the video recording test of 8K for almost 15 to 20 minutes. And we also continuously monitored the temperature of these phones. Here only OnePlus has 8K at 24 FPS support, but other two phones, which is Samsung S23 Ultra and iQOO 12, both of them have 8K at 30 FPS video recording support. After total 18 minutes of video recording, iQOO temperature was 50.5 degrees Celsius, which is way high, followed by S23 Ultra, which had 46.8 degrees Celsius, and at last OnePlus, which was at 45.8 degrees Celsius. After completing the entire video recording, highest battery remaining was 55%, which was on OnePlus 11, followed by Samsung S23 Ultra, which was 51%, and last one was iQOO, which was at 49%. Now talking about the conclusion, so with no doubt performance wise, iQOO 12 is actually a legend, and in almost every test it performed really well. Huge thanks to 8 Gen 3 processor, though one drawback I saw, and that's the temperature rise. In most of the scenarios, iQOO had the higher temperature. Samsung S23 Ultra remained cool most of the time, followed by OnePlus 11. I was surprised to see that iQOO 12 reached 50 plus degrees Celsius while recording 8K at 30 FPS, which was too high. But iQOO 12 is a great phone for performance part. Now you guys let us know, will you be investing on iQOO 12 to get such great performance? In battery wise, OnePlus 11 and Samsung both are king of 2023. And in performance wise, iQOO is a king of 2023. What are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. This is your friend Ashok signing out. See you guys in the next video.